is a 1993 American epic historical drama film directed and produced by Steven Spielberg and written by Steven Zaillian. It is based on the 1982 novel, Schindler's Ark, by Australian novelist Thomas Keneally. The film follows Oskar Schindler, a German industrialist who saved more than 1,000 mostly Polish Jewish refugees from the Holocaust by employing them in his factories during World War II. It stars Liam Neeson as Schindler, Ralph Fiennes as SS officer Eamon Goth, and Ben Kingsley as Schindler's Jewish accountant Itzhak Stern. Schindler's Ark is a fictional novel published in 1982 by the Australian novelist Thomas Keneally. The United States edition of the book was titled Schindler's List. It was later reissued in Commonwealth countries under that name as well. The novel won the Booker Prize and was awarded the Los Angeles Times Book Prize for Fiction in 1983. Ideas for a film about the Schindlerjuden, Schindler Jews, were proposed as early as 1963. Poldek Pfefferberg, one of the Schindlerjuden, made it his life's mission to tell Schindler's story. Spielberg became interested when executive Sidney Sheinberg sent him a book review of Schindler's Ark. Universal Pictures bought the rights to the novel, but Spielberg, unsure if he was ready to make a film about the Holocaust, tried to pass the project to several directors before deciding to direct it. Principal photography took place in Krakow, Poland, over 72 days in 1993. Spielberg shot in black and white and approached the film as a documentary. Cinematographer Janusz Kaminski wanted to create a sense of timelessness. John Williams composed the score, and violinist Itzhak Perlman performed the main theme. Schindler's List premiered on November 30, 1993, in Washington, D.C. and was released on December 15, 1993, in the United States. Often listed among the greatest films ever made, the film received universal acclaim for its tone, acting, particularly Neeson, Fiennes, and Kingsley, atmosphere, and Spielberg's direction. It was also a box office success, earning $322 million worldwide on a $22 million budget. It was nominated for 12 Academy Awards, and won 7, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Original Score. The film won numerous other awards, including 7 BAFTAs and 3 Golden Globe Awards. In 2007, the American Film Institute ranked Schindler's List 8th on its list of the 100 best American films of all time. The film was designated as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant by the Library of Congress in 2004 and selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. Summary. In Krakow during World War II, the Nazis forced local Polish Jews into the overcrowded Krakow ghetto. Oskar Schindler, a German member of the Nazi Party from Czechoslovakia, arrives in the city, hoping to make his fortune. He bribes Wehrmacht German armed forces and SS officials, acquiring a factory to produce enamelware. Schindler hires Itzhak Stern, a Jewish official with contacts among black marketeers and the Jewish business community. He handles administration and helps Schindler arrange financing. Stern ensures that as many Jewish workers as possible are deemed essential to the German war effort to prevent them from being taken by the SS to concentration camps or killed. Meanwhile, Schindler maintains friendly relations with the Nazis and enjoys wealth and status as Heer Director. SS Untersturmführer, Second Lieutenant Eamon Goth arrives in Krakow to oversee construction of the Plaszow concentration camp. When the camp is ready, he orders the ghetto liquidated. 2,000 Jews are transported to Plaszow, and 2,000 others are killed in the streets by the SS. Schindler witnesses the massacre and is profoundly affected. He particularly notices a young girl in a red coat who hides from the Nazis and later sees her body on a wagonload of corpses. Schindler is careful to maintain his friendship with Goth and continues to enjoy SS support, mostly through bribery. Goth brutalizes his Jewish maid Helen Hirsch and randomly shoots people from the balcony of his villa. The prisoners are in constant fear for their lives. As time passes, Schindler's focus shifts from making money to trying to save as many lives as possible. To better protect his workers, Schindler bribes Goth into allowing him to build a sub-camp. As the Germans begin losing the war, Goth is ordered to ship the remaining Jews at Plaszow to Auschwitz concentration camp. Schindler asks Goth for permission to move his workers to a munitions factory he plans to build in Brunlitz near his hometown of Zwickau. Goth reluctantly agrees, but charges a huge bribe. Schindler and Stern create Schindler's List, a list of 850 people to be transferred to Brunlitz instead of Auschwitz. As the Jewish workers are transported by train to Brunlitz, the women and girls are mistakenly redirected to Auschwitz-Birkenau. Schindler bribes Rudolf Haas, commandant of Auschwitz, for their release. At the new factory, Schindler forbids the SS guards from entering the factory floor without permission and encourages the Jews to observe the Jewish Sabbath. Over the next 7 months, he spends his fortune bribing Nazi officials and buying shell casings from other companies. Due to Schindler's machinations, the factory does not produce any usable armaments. Schindler runs out of money in 1945, just as Germany surrenders. As a Nazi Party member and war profiteer, Schindler must flee the advancing Red Army to avoid capture. The SS guards in Schindler's factory have been ordered to kill the Jewish workforce, but Schindler persuades them to return to their families as men, instead of murderers. Bidding farewell to his workers, he prepares to head west, hoping to surrender to the Americans. The workers give him a signed statement attesting to his role in saving Jewish lives and present him with a ring engraved with a Talmudic quotation, "Whoever saves one life saves the world entire." Schindler breaks down in tears, feeling he should have done more, and is comforted by the workers before he and his wife leave in their car. When the Schindler-Juden awaken the next morning, a Soviet soldier announces that they have been liberated. The Jews then walk to a nearby town. An epilogue reveals that Goth was executed via hanging, and Schindler had failed in both business and marriage following the war. In the present, many of the surviving Schindler-Juden and the actors portraying them visit Schindler's grave and place stones on its marker, the traditional Jewish sign of respect on visiting a grave, with Liam Neeson laying 2 roses. The film explores the theme of good and evil, using as its main protagonist a good German, a popular characterization in American cinema. While Goth is characterized as an almost completely dark and evil person, Schindler gradually evolves from Nazi supporter to rescuer and hero. Thus a second theme of redemption is introduced as Schindler, a disreputable schemer on the edges of respectability, becomes a father figure responsible for saving the lives of more than 1,000 people. While the film is shot primarily in black and white, a red coat is used to distinguish a little girl in the scene depicting the liquidation of the Krakow ghetto. Later in the film, Schindler sees her exhumed dead body, recognizable only by the red coat she is still wearing. Spielberg said the scene was intended to symbolize how members of the highest levels of government in the United States knew the Holocaust was occurring, yet did nothing to stop it. He said, "It was as obvious as a little girl wearing a red coat, walking down the street, and yet nothing was done to bomb the German rail lines. Nothing was being done to slow down the annihilation of European Jewry. So that was my message in letting that scene be in color." Andy Patrizio of IGN notes that the point at which Schindler sees the girl's dead body is the point at which he changes, no longer seeing the ash and soot of burning corpses piling up on his car is just an annoyance. Professor André H. Caron of the Université de Montréal wonders if the red symbolizes innocence, hope, or the red blood of the Jewish people being sacrificed in the horror of the Holocaust. The girl was portrayed by Olivia Dabrowska, 3 years old at the time of filming. Spielberg asked Dabrowska not to watch the film until she was 18, but she watched it when she was 11, and says she was horrified. Upon seeing the film again as an adult, she was proud of the role she played. Roma Ligocka, who says she was known in the Krakow ghetto for her red coat, feels the character might have been based on her. Ligocka, unlike her fictional counterpart, survived the Holocaust. After the film was released, she wrote and published her own story, The Girl in the Red Coat, a memoir 2002, in translation. Alternatively, according to her relatives who were interviewed in 2014, the girl may have been inspired by Krakow resident Jenya Gittelchill.